What's happening? This is Wilson Jet. I've got another informative weapon review. Today we're going to be talking about the AN-94 assault rifle. Pete told me he'd been using this gun over the weekend and having some success with it, and he noticed some peculiar characteristics of the gun and indicated that it might be useful in certain situations. And after we got to talking about it, I said, you know what, you might be onto something there. I think that's worth sharing with some other people. So what you're looking at is my first hour of gameplay with the gun. I think I only had 15 kills before this, but I played Team Deathmatch for about an hour by myself in the afternoon and put together some quick edits so you could see it in action. And I'm going to be using the heavy barrel that you see that I unlocked there. You get that at 20 kills, and this goofy 4x scope, which you get right away at 10 kills, and nothing but the underslung rail in the second weapon attachment category. And you know, I tried some of the other attachments as I unlocked them, but I kept coming back to this. And it's the first two things that you get, and it really seemed to me to be the best setup for the gun, for the way that it operates in the game. First, let me give you a little bit of a background on what an AN-94 actually is. I'm not a gun enthusiast by any means, but after researching a little bit, I thought it was pretty interesting. And I put some links in the description below. One is a pretty in-depth review of the weapon from some sort of gun enthusiast forum, and the other is a short YouTube video which shows the weapon in action and how it operates in real life. And there's some slow motion footage there that is pretty cool that you might appreciate. It actually increased my appreciation of using the gun in the game as I imagined, you know, how it was working. And then after we talk about what an AN-94 is and what it was supposed to do, I'll tell you about how it operates in the world of Battlefield and how you might use it most effectively. Before I start though, check this out. This is a pretty neat little sequence on Op Metro that I didn't expect at all. It has some pretty awesome room clearing capability when you get in a situation like this. Kind of reminded me of the FN-FAL from Call of Duty. I missed this revive right here, but if I'd gotten that last guy, I could have gone on and had a real nice point run. The AN in AN-94 stands for Avtomat Nikonova. Avtomat translates from Russian as automatic rifle. Nikonova is the creator of the weapon. The AN-94 was meant to eventually replace the AK series of Kalashnikov weapons used by the Russian military, but it's never really done that and just hasn't taken off because the construction of the AN-94 is pretty complicated and it's just too expensive to make. So from what little I've read, my understanding is that there just aren't a lot of these floating around out there, and they haven't sold them or exported them. Check out Oblivious Recon Guy here though real quick. Oblivious Recon Guy is oblivious. I shoot the person behind him and then turn around and save his life. You're welcome, Recon Guy. Proceed to snipe and be worthless. So anyhow, the major breakthrough with the AN-94 was that it's capable of firing 2 rounds basically right on top of each other. And that second round leaves the barrel before the user feels any impulse or recoil from the first shot. Now, it doesn't quite operate like that in the world of Battlefield because that would just make it too powerful. But in real life, it's got this 2-round burst feature, which, if operated properly, is actually capable of 1,800 rounds per minute. And the gun itself is really good looking. If a rifle can be good looking, it's sleek, but it has a magazine that is canted to the right. And if you check out those links in the description below and see some of the pictures, you'll see what I mean. That's kind of cool. It also has what you might call a floating barrel. The barrel pivots in and out to help control the recoil felt by the user and balance those quick 2-round bursts. There's also a built-in muzzle brake, which is sort of like the flash suppressor that we have available in Battlefield 3. So it just does a lot of things really, really well. And the purpose of those quick 2-round bursts, well, it has several purposes actually. The main one, though, is that it increases hit probability significantly. Supposedly, the AN-94 is 50 to 70% more likely to hit a point target than an AK, which is astounding. The effective range of this gun in real life is 700 meters, and the data says that at 600 to 700 meters, those 2 rounds that are fired with one flick of the trigger should actually land within 18 inches of one another. It uses a slightly smaller round than a lot of the other assault rifles that use the 7.62. This uses a 5.45, but when you've got two bullets that are basically falling right on top of each other, the armor piercing potential is pretty significant. So this is why they thought, okay, the AN-94, this is going to be the gun of the future, but it just never really happened. Also, that smaller round kind of tumbles shortly after it's fired, and that tumbling effect is intentional because it creates a bigger wound channel. So, like I said, read the article. You'll get something out of it. I thought it was pretty neat. In any case, let's talk about what this gun does in the world of Battlefield. And actually, this is a pretty good example right here. If you can control your engagements, use your flanking, get the back rage going, get set up in a spot where you know that people are going to funnel through a choke point. This thing is absolutely deadly because you can pick off 3, 4, 5 targets with those 2-round bursts, and it just has a massive suppression effect, which I'm going to talk more about later. It's not so hot in close quarters. If you get up against a really fast rifle and someone who has good aim with that fast rifle, like you saw earlier, I got knocked in the head by somebody who had me in his sights with the AEK, you're probably going to lose that engagement most of the time. But if you can get around guys like I'm about to do right here, you can really take a good chunk out of the enemy team's troop force, because this thing, it really does pack a wallop. So if you've got good map awareness and use that mini-map pretty well, I think you might like this gun. Alright, so in the world of Battlefield, they've kind of nerfed the AN-94 somewhat, because if it did what it does in real life, I think it would just be overpowering and it wouldn't really be fair. In the game, it has a rate of fire of 600, which makes it the slowest of all assault rifles at this damage class. It does the same amount of damage as all of the other rifles do, 25 out to 8 meters, then it goes down until you get to 50 meters, where it bottoms out at 18.4, and it does that forever. Because of this 2-round burst feature, hypothetically, if you were capable of sustaining that, you could actually get 1,200 rounds per minute. So I'll check this out. It's kind of, you get a little semi-auto sniper feature going with the AN-94. I did get that nice little long-range hit there once you learn the timing of the recoil, which is pretty cool. So you've sort of got that twofold function. You can use it as a rifle, and you can also use it as like a sniper rifle, which is fun. If you can tap, tap, tap and control those 2-round bursts properly and sustain it, hypothetically, you should get up to 1,200 rounds per minute. In real short bursts, I feel like I can, get off on somebody and really, really cause them to panic and be suppressed. But in all actuality, there's no way you're going to sustain that over a full minute. The bullet speed is only 600, whereas in real life it's 900. Suppression is 7% per round, just like every other gun, except because you're firing those 2 rounds back to back, in essence, you're delivering a 14% penalty with every tap of your trigger, which is pretty neat. The reload time is just in the bottom half. It's not special, it's just below average, 2.6 seconds when you've got some rounds in the magazine, 3.5 seconds if you're completely empty. And as you can see, I'm kind of learning to control the engagements right there. I saw that guy and thought, okay, with what I've got, I don't think I can win this encounter. So I ran around the corner and let my buddy eat it, and then picked him up after I killed that guy. I did not appreciate Mr. Camper right there, by the way. Is that how you're going to play Team Deathmatch? You're going to glitch into a wall with an LMG and just wait for people to come by. That is lame. Anyway, recoil on the gun is not what it should be. Really the hallmark of this weapon in real life is that it has next to no vertical recoil. But in the game, they've given it 0.3 vertical recoil with a 1.5 times multiplier, which means 0.45 degrees of vertical recoil each time you squeeze the trigger. And because you're firing in burst mode, you're going to get that 0.45 every time. But keep in mind, those shots that you're firing are going to be incredibly accurate. So as long as you wait for the scope to return to a decent aim point, you should be super accurate with the weapon. And you see right here, I'm in my perch, and I'm able to lay out like 6 or 7 guys because almost every bullet is going to hit its target. The spread is the same as it is for, just about every other gun, but once you put that heavy barrel on there, it actually reduces the spread by 75%, which I think is, just golden. Because you're going to be single tapping and you have next to no spread, honestly, it's all up to you. If you aim properly, you're going to do some damage with this gun. You just got to watch out for people who have got quicker weapons than you when you're up close on. But the suppression is really what's awesome about this. We've decided that if you use this gun with the suppression perk, which gives you an extra 50% suppression, if you put that extra 50% on top of those 2 rounds that you're firing, you've actually got triple suppression. And if you're watching, a lot of those guys I was hitting, they're jerking and jolting all over the place. Give that a try. AN-94 with a low mag scope, heavy barrel, and suppression. I think you might like it. Thanks for listening.